of love and attention.
There we go. Thank God.
Greg is actually paying attention.
It's my favorite part of the day.
Yeah. Hey there, beer tubers. Welcome back to Bring Your Own Beer Analysis 101 tonight, where we've got their go-to lagers tonight. So everybody is bringing their own beer tonight, and it's your favorite go-to lager. I don't mean it's like your favorite lager, but it's the one you buy when you want to buy a lot of lager, a lot of beer, you drink it, whatever. So let's, without further ado, introduce everybody tonight, and starting with Mr. Lee of High Tide and Imbibe, and They Must Be Destroyed on Sight, etc. What are you? How are you doing, and what are you drinking tonight?
I'm doing fine, Nick. How are you? I am drinking Propeller California Common tonight.
Ah, good motherfucking choice. All right, and we got Mr. Ashley Sexton of Sexton Brewing Co.
Hello.
What are you drinking tonight, sir?
Well, this is probably a beer that I would say I should buy with greater frequency, but I don't. But I should, and maybe it'll be my New Year's resolution or something. I've sort of been staying away from the lagers as of late. However, I brought the OG.
Pilsner Urquell.
There we go.
Nice.
I love this beer.
Probably go good with all those hot dogs you're eating for supper.
Exactly. Actually, it did. Balanced off quite well.
German style.
All hot dogs. Hot dogs.
And Greg must have forgot his beer in his bag.
Forgot his beer.
So we're just going to stare at his screen until he comes back. And barrel-aged Russian Imperial Stouts don't count.
No. So here we go. You guys.
What are you drinking?
Ugh.
Oh.
No, but wait, I'm not because you can't do that, Ashley. It's got to be a regular bullshit lager, which is what I got.
It is a lager.
I got a GLB blonde lager, formerly known as Golden Horseshoe Lager, and you used to be able to get 24 of these, not in the size, but in the bottles, for $28. But those days are gone. Bring it back, Doug Ford. Bring it back.
Nice.
Anyways, decent lager.
Right. Okay. So going back to myself, and I think I'm the only guy that actually brought a macro to this party. Sort of a macro. It's still the hometown beer from where I'm from. This is Moosehead's, of course, their Moosehead Classic Lager in the green bottle, or Moose Green, as we'll call it here in New Brunswick. All right, so moving right along. There are no comments, so let's go over and talk. Lee, what's your history with the beer you decided to bring?
So Propeller, this started out as sort of a seasonal one-off thing for them. And they just basically, they wanted to replicate Anchor Steam, basically, is what they wanted to do. Now, for the longest time, even up to the point where I did a review for this on my channel, I did not know whether they did the sort of same process that Anchor Steam does with their California Common beer. But apparently they do. They do ferment this at a warmer temperature, at a ale yeast temperature instead of a lager yeast temperature. So it's like 20-ish degrees instead of like 7 to 13 degrees centigrade or Celsius. And so, yeah, they basically have replicated Anchor Steam. They've canned it, which is awesome. And from my memories of Anchor Steam, this might just be the fact that I love this beer so much that's clouding my memories, but I think they kind of make a better beer than Anchor Steam's their old California Common Steam beer. So it just tastes, and it's probably just because it's coming out of the can. It just tastes fresher. It generally just holds up better.
Out of the can on the East Coast.
And more, more a little bit more pronounced hoppiness than in the California Common, but. Yeah, I don't know if you want me to go into much more detail until we're like giving grades, or are we giving grades, or what are we doing? I don't know.
We kind of give it like a personal rating kind of thing at the end.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll move on.
Yeah. Well, yeah. All right. Moving on to Mr. Ashley or Mr. Ash. What's your history? Talk about the beer. Each person talks a bit about the beer they brought, a history with it, etc. So go ahead.
Well, I can read what's on the neck of it.
Okay.
That helps. I didn't do history. I don't know what temperature this is from.
Your history.
Hey, I just brought that up because I just found it out, like actually tonight, doing some research. So just get off my back, Ashley.
You're right.
Yeah,
One
she did
upper.
research.
Change your screen name to like Mr. Mick One Upper.
Wow.
So in 1842, the Citizens Brewery of Pilsen brewed the world's first golden pilsner and never stopped. We make it the same way, in the same place, with 100% of our ingredients from the same farming regions in Czech as always. So I discovered this beer back in, I don't know, maybe almost 10 years ago, 9 years ago, probably about as old as my kids are now. So, because that's when my drinking suddenly took a sharp upturn. And I was probably just fishing through the Euro part of the LCBO section, and I was probably just trying one of everything, and I came across this beer and had it, and I think this sort of really solidified in my mind that pilsners are a style that I just generally like. It's pilsners are a style that I would always reach towards if I'm going to don't want to really think about it all that much. It's just the style itself. I'm not talking about this beer, but the style is just a nice balance between bitterness, dryness, a touch of sweetness, and overall ease of drinkability with a relatively low ABV. So for the style itself, I mean, it's fantastic. And the fact that this is like the originator of the Pilsner style, just sort of, I just think it's pretty fucking cool. So yeah, I've been drinking this on and off for years now. I don't buy it all the time, but as I mentioned earlier, it's probably something I probably should buy a little bit more because it is very well made. So that's my history with Pilsner Urquell.
All right. Cool story, bro.
Cool story, bro.
All right. So, Greg, what is your history with what you call it? Gold Leaf, Gold Lag, Goldschlager?
Golden Horseshoe. Well, it used to be called Golden Horseshoe Lager. They've since renamed it now with the GLB Blonde Lager. My history with it is I used to buy it back in the day when I started drinking craftish beer and I wanted something cheap because I'm Polish and we're cheap. We're cheap people. And it was along with cool beer. It was you could both get them for $28 or $29 for a 2-4. I always thought this was a little bit better than cool beer, but again, they're both lagers, so who cares? I usually pick up whichever one was more convenient for me at the time, when I was driving by. And it's still pretty solid. I mean, it's not the same price. They sell it in tall boys now, and I'm sure it works out to be a lot more for a milliliter of beer, but it's a lager. Like, I'm not going to suck his dick or anything, but it's fine. If I'm in the mood for a lager, I can drink it, and it's like $2.10 a can or $2.15 a can. I can't even remember. It's not expensive, so good value still. Okay, relax. You're being rude. Arnold apologizes for his behavior. He's cranky.
Right. If only you would apologize for your behavior sometimes.
Yeah, right.
Whenever I do something worth apologizing for, I will, Nick. It's yet to happen.
All right. Okay, so moving over to Le Bois, with probably the most boring beer of the night, but still a classic. It's still one of my favorites. This one here, of course, Moosehead Lager, is a beer that originates from my hometown, St. John, New Brunswick. Being born and raised here, this shit has been ubiquitous for my entire life. Used to be more partial years ago to like the pale ale than the green, the lager itself, but I've grown more and more of an appreciation for this lager ever since then, because this thing, like when it's a hot summer day, this shit goes down so easy. You can buy a 6-pack every now and then, and it'll be, it's just super enjoyable, clean, refreshing, and not fully loaded with like crappy adjunct tastes or off flavors. And even when it warms up, it's still not a bad beer. I just find there's really nothing to complain about. And when it comes to something easy to drink and cheap around here that I want to drink like a 6-pack of or more, this is what I'll gravitate to. It is one of the better lagers that comes out of New Brunswick. I mean, we're speaking pale lager here after all. So don't expect it to, well, I mean, technically, I guess it has won awards.
Still holds
right.
up.
We've got We had 2 people watching. Now we've only got 1. My spiel, shitty spiel, probably scared people off. Wait for
Frightening
that.
people.
Don't
Just-
put yourself down like that.
Yeah, and of course,
It
Greg's
was,
not
obviously,
doing
it
it.
was obviously me that scared them off. My ghoulish complexion.
All right. Well, I guess maybe we'll just do a lightning round of like, what do you guys think your beer tastes like? Let's go with Mr. Lee. What do you think?
All right. So, like I said, this does its best to sort of replicate the Anchor Steam style. It's right down to the 2-row crystal malts. I think the only difference here is it's got Canadian wheat within the malt. Still uses the Northern Brewer hops, which is what they use, I guess, for Anchor Steam, and lager yeast that's just fermented again at a warmer temperature. So it's supposed to. I don't know the chemical processes and stuff, but apparently it's supposed to make the lager more ale-like in a certain respect, and it does. It's toastier. It's kind of like a Vienna lager that's gone like super toasty, and so you're getting like that toasty caramel. You're getting a little bit of a nice spiciness from the Northern Brewer hops, and there's a little bit of a fruity ester component to it as well. Just goes down super smooth. It's excellent to drink. It's the one, like I said, now that it's year round for Propeller, it's something I can just jump into real quick and always enjoy. And I did not go back and look at my review, but I'm pretty confident that for the style, I gave it it was like either a 9.5 or a 9, something like that. And my overall enjoyment, I gave it a 10, just because I love it so much. It's not a big, super complex imperial stout that's going to blow your mind or anything like that. It's not going to scorch your shorts or anything, but just as far as like nailing a simple, perfect little style for a go-to drinking beer that has something going on other than it just being a pale lager, this beer does it. If you get to Nova Scotia and you like stuff like this, pick it up. It's everywhere now in Nova Scotia, basically. You get 6-packs, and it's great stuff.
Yeah, I actually have a can of that sitting in my fridge right now.
What's the price on that, Lee?
It's like $13-14, something like that for the 6-pack. It's pretty much standard Nova Scotia prices at this point.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think for my 6-pack of Pilsner or Kel, and it's just your standard bottles. I think this was like 14 and change.
Okay.
So
For a 6-pack of that?
Yeah.
That's
don't
pretty good considering what you're getting.
yeah.
I probably
We don't even
drink
get
that.
it in bottles anymore. We just get the cans now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Too.
Yeah, the King cans, yeah. Yeah, those are usually pretty readily available as well. Then, they're priced a little bit higher than your typical macro Euro lager, but rightfully so. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
again, it's sort of what you had mentioned about your Cali Common is that, it's probably not a style that's going to blow, or I think you said put some squirts in your shorts.
Scorch your shorts.
Squirt. Which I guess is better than squirts. You don't want squirts in your shorts. But, or maybe you get really excited over the style. I don't know. Hey, whatever floats your boat. You can squirt your shorts all you want.
Here's your price for 6-pack.
This beer's not gonna it's not gonna fucking make you go crazy gaga over it, but it's very well made, and I would love to be able to actually go there just for the sole purpose of just having one fresh from the brewery, because this has a best before of June 17th 2020, and so they're probably giving this a year. If I had to guess, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing. So, I'm probably sitting on a beer that's, close to 6 months or 5 months old. But, what I like about it is, just sort of all of those characteristics that go into what a well-made Pilsner should be. A nice pronounced toast, like not toasty, but like breadcrumb toast, or I keep on wanting to say toast. But it's got like a really breadcrumby type of like malt presence to it, a nice earthy bitterness that sort of carries through, sort of sticks with you all the way through the sip and into the finish. You know, it's nice and effervescent. It's not too overly carbonated, but you know, it's just easy to drink. Easy to drink, easy on the palate. You do get pronounced hop and malt flavors, because I find in most, like, you know, macro lagers, you're not really picking up much on the malt. You're not really picking much up on hops. You're just getting what your brain says is yellow fizzy beer, right? Whereas, you know, this is sort of just a more refined take on it. You know, it's pronounced flavors, well made, very consistent. Would love to have it a little bit fresher, but whatever. It is what it is. It's reliable. It is the predecessor to the style. It has set the bar. And really, the only thing I'd probably like better than this is if they actually did a dry hop version. I'm all over dry hop pilsners right now. I think they're great. And if there's a Pilsner Urquell dry hop pilsner, I think that'd be fucking fantastic. Yeah, that's my. What were you gonna say, Lee?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was waiting for you to give a grade, and then I was going to interrupt you.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, you know what? Personal enjoyment. This is like 8 out of 10 all day. You know, super happy to drink it. Happy you got the 6-pack. You know, whenever it's in the fridge, I'm happy to drink it. But again, it's not like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever. It's just, wow, this is a pretty solid beer, and I can drink this all the time. So, my palate would not get bored of it, and I guess that's sort of what we're getting to. You know, are these beers that we could just drink, you know, day in, day out? I mean, not all day, but well, maybe some people. But you know,
All day.
These beers we shouldn't be getting palate fatigue from it. We could just drink it all the time.
Yeah.
Well,
I was thinking.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say. I was thinking. You know, if a brewery as old as Pilsner Urquell, if they were to like make some sort of move, I mean, you know, just dry hopping their beer, just doing a dry hop version would be, you know, like the safe bet to go with. Like, here's Pilsner, here's our Pilsner, but the hops are a little bit more pronounced now, a little bit fresher tasting. You know, like it'd be the same thing as with Duvel there, where they have they did those specialty beers a little while ago. I guess what was it again? It was either they were dry hopped or they were like triple hopped or something like that. They had something different.
There was a triple hop version of Duvel for a while, wasn't there?
Really?
There's
Yeah,
also
something
the Houblon Chouf from the one with the gnome on it. They had a Houblon version, which is like a triple hop kind of thing.
Yeah, I can't remember where I had it, and I still can't remember where the fuck it was. But there was like specialty versions of Duvel where it's like they weren't doing, you know, a super, here's our barrel aged bourbon cask ale. No, they were just like, we fucked with the hops a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a recipe that we've had for hundreds of years, and we're just gonna change the hops just to fuck with you a little bit.
Yeah, just looking it up. There's 20. Was it? Some legal drinking games. They have a Duvel triple hop Citra version.
Mm-hmm.
So that might mean that they have like other beers that are like triple hop. Yeah, Duvel triple hop with Sriracha Ace, with Mosaic. Ooh, that sounds good. Equinox.
Wow, I haven't heard anyone use Sriracha Ace in a while.
Yeah. Well, yeah. To be fair, that's the 2013 release of Duvel triple hop.
Even back then, man. Remember when Sriracha Ace was big for like a year, and like everyone was doing it. Like Brooklyn Brewery, like had their beer with it, and
that's a weird hop too.
It's
got like dill flavors to it.
Yeah.
Sriracha Ace, Marinos, Equinox, HBC 291. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Oh, that was probably HBC 291.
Well, I gotta Google it, see if maybe that's a strain they gave a name to afterwards.
Laurel hops.
Laurel hops.
Yeah.
From Yakima Valley.
Yep. Interesting.
All right. Speaking of being interesting, let's go over to Greg, who's going to give us his opinion of Gold Leaf Lager.
Yeah, put me after Ashley Sexton, so I seem like a simpleton in comparison.
Well, yeah.
This beer tastes
Steam like.
this beer tastes like yellow fizzy water.
Lager.
Yep. I don't know. It's a lager. It's a little sweet. I wish it was less sweet, but I wish beers were not sweet whatsoever. So I hate sweetness. But it's got a little bit of a hoppiness to it. It's crisp, as the kids like to say. It's refreshing. You could drink it all day, and if you stop trying to be a good parent, Ashley Sexton, you would drink it all day like a good alcoholic. And I don't know. That's about it. So I don't know. It is what it is. Like if I wanted a more interesting lager, I'd drink a Pilsner, but that's for another night because Pilsner is a lot more interesting than regular lagers are. Regular old lagers, as they are, and yes, I know Boxer lagers, blah, blah, blah. Regular old lagers, they're even the best ones kind of, give it to me, I'll drink it, it's fine. So I don't know, like, based on the style of a regular old lager, 8 out of 10, because why not? My own personal enjoyment, 7.5. I could drink it if it's offered to me. I probably won't be buying another one of these anymore. So I guess I'm lying. It's not really a go-to lager because I don't really have a go-to lager. So
Sorry, Nick,
I ruined your entire show.
Sure. Yes.
Because I'm a beer burglar.
I was thinking you've been beer burgled. Well, I was just thinking like the theme of
the integrity of your show, Nick.
I was thinking I'm gonna pan out to all of us. I was thinking with the theme of go-to lager that we like, okay, what's the lager that you would drink the most of? Like, when you want to go buy a lager, what's the one you want to buy? To be honest, I thought Greg was either going to go with Steam Whistle or like Molson Canadian or some shit. But that was kind of like the idea. And you do have a Steam Whistle sitting there, but you're not drinking it. You haven't even broken the seal.
Yeah, because he's going with this bullshit Pilsner argument when it's like it's the most substandard crap Pilsner ever.
No,
it's not that bad. I enjoy Steam Whistle.
The problem with this, which is sealed, is that right now the LCBO is just closed, and my wife is out doing me a favor right now.
Well, you know what, Greg? You could have gone out like any day over the last week to get something instead of waiting for the last minute. Not only that, you have an LCBO sitting right next to your fucking place.
Yeah, except it's closed right now, and I didn't get home till not too long ago. Anyways, Nick, the point being is that if I drink this, my chances of any sexual acts in the next month have probably diminished greatly, unless it's with like
you're drinking your wife's beer.
You know why that is? Because Steam Whistle is the 2-pump chump of Pilsners.
I mean, like it goes down easy. Is that what you're saying? Because I mean, I kind of agree. It is easy.
No, it's not. I mean, it's not even utilitarian. It's over before it starts.
Sounds like Greg.
I think Lee is trying to tell us that Steam Whistle is a great session lager. So sure, why not? I think we can all agree with that. I'd love to session about it.
No.
Actually, you know what? That's another benefit of this beer is that it's only 4.4%.
Yeah, this is a man's lager. It's 5% Ashley Sexton.
But yeah, I didn't even know you could get like Pilsner Urquell in a 6-pack like that in Ontario.
Yeah.
But I will say, contrary to what Greg's been saying, that I would be okay if we do a Pilsner night and you bring that too. Chances are I'll probably bring that one.
You know what? I have never been super impressed with Pilsner Urquell, but then again, I don't know if I've ever had it particularly fresh either, so I'm sure that certainly could make a difference. But every time I have it, I find it just overly sweet.
You find this sweet?
I do. Now, again,
really?
I'm assuming I've drank a ton of them, or that I've drank fresh ones, but I find them a little too sweet for my taste.
Wow. Okay. When I think of Pilsner Urquell, sweet is not something that comes up in my mind.
That's all right. Who knows? Maybe his bottles
everybody has a different stupid palate. So
well, also my stupid palate is based on that I basically don't eat sugar in my diet or in my food. I'm pretty anal about it. So something that may not taste sweet to somebody else tends to taste sweet to me. I'm a little sensitive to it.
That's fair.
Okay, Buttercup.
All right. So
Moving
let's
on
move
to
on
Moosehead.
to my own personal thoughts about the beer that I'm like 2 beers deep into already. So,
Brooke,
Um,
I'm free.
well, think about it. It's Moosehead.
pair.
Like, what are you expecting me to give you like a huge spiel of all the tasting notes that you get out of this shit? Well, no, it's something I was identifying as go-to lager, and I was actually thinking like this thing is so clean and clear, that easy to drink when it's especially when it's cold, that it just goes down easy. And that's exactly what I want when I'm thinking a go-to lager. Now, I don't often gravitate to lagers myself because there's just so many other beers out there. Like I'm more likely to be found like drinking like a New England style IPA from Trailway or something like that. But when it comes to a lager, if it's something I just want to drink and I'm just really thirsty for some fucking beers, or if I'm at a bar or something, this is what I would gravitate to. As far as the flavor notes go, you get this nice light bready, this nice grassy sweet taste. It's light, it's clean, it's crisp. You do get like some off flavors of like sulfur and cardboard in minor amounts, but very small amounts. And even going back to what Ashley's talking about, Pilsner Urquell, that's actually something that some of these, like especially for the export releases of beers like that, they actually try to get like minor amounts of those flavors into to add the character into the beer. So I mean, the Pilsner Urquell, you'll find sulfur, you'll find a little bit of cardboard in that beer, even though they technically are off flavors, but it kind of is what those breweries will use as like character in their beers, but only in light amounts. You don't want to taste like a fucking like wet box. Maybe Greg.
Yeah, I love wet box.
Yeah, that's wrong. Wet box. Anyway, yeah. So moving right along, yeah, I find that this is actually a pretty decent lager. Not really crazy for like the light version, and but as far as a beer goes, especially one from a macro that's as like cheap as you can get it some places, I find that I still really like having a Moosehead every once in a while. So for the style, I'll give it an 8, and for the personal enjoyment, a 7.5. I'll drink it.
Wow, you are drinking it.
I am drinking it. I drank 2 already. Well, 1.5 because
I'm going to prophesize that you're going to drink another one.
Mm.
I might have go for another lager from Moosehead afterwards.
Fake Roche beer, man. If it's not hot, it's not a real Roche beer.
If it's not spicy and tastes like tomato. All right. So that said, we actually have one more thing to talk about that we could have talked about earlier, but listening to everybody's descriptions of the beer that we gave. Actually, you know what? What I'm going to do is let's go over to the comments, because I know we have Eric Gilbert blabbing away in the comments here.
Oh boy!
Ash, anybody?
Yeah, I'll read them. I'll read said comments. He's like, "Cheers, chuggers! Cheers, Eric. You drinking a lager?" He's like, "I'm drinking the king of lagers, Dab Sons."
Yeah,
and they have it recently introduced. The Dab, they don't call it a Schwarzbier. I think they just call it a dark lager. So I was like, "Are you drinking the pale or the dark, son?" He's like, "Pale. Cheers, Sexton." Then he claimed that he saw the Collective Arts lager earlier at the LCBO and that it was overpriced. And I confirmed that. It is called the audiovisual lager, and it's Ite. And then Eric Gilbert was throwing Greg under the bus. He's like, wrong. It's very dry, actually.
Mm.
And then he suggested...
There we go.
And then he suggested, do a Euro Strong Lager week next, sons.
Oh, well, Fax 10% all the way.
We already did Fax 10.
Yeah. That's
We could totally do like Bavaria 8.6.
Yeah, we could do Bavaria. Yeah, we could do their best block or some shit. Yeah.
That is horrible crap, but
shit scares me, man.
Oh god.
High gravity Euro Lager, man, that scares the shit.
You know what I wish we could all get for a beer analysis would be the Crest Super 10. It was fucking nasty. That said, I talked about next week's beer. We're gonna take a week off next week, so, and then we'll come back with maybe the beer that we were planning to do if Red Beard sends that beer mail out.
If Red Beard
sends so next week is going to be a regular hangout.
Yeah, we'll just do a hangout.
We're just going to shit talk people earlier in the night than we do usually.
That's fair.
Pretty much. All right, so we did have one more thing to talk about in the order of the Bring Your Own Beer Analysis 101. The next thing is, of course, going to each person and asking of everybody else's beers, which one would you like to have? Start with Lee. Of all
Out
three.
of everyone else's beers, which one would I like to have? I'd go for the Pilsner Urquell, if like that'd be my second choice out of this panel.
All right. And move over to Ash.
I would have said the Cali Common.
All right.
Yeah. And you know what? And that's because from a brewing standpoint, it's a very interesting style because not a lot is really known about that style of beer either. And because really the only comparison is Anchor Steam. That is the only comparison. So there's a lot of gray area with that style of beer. And,
I'm thinking the whole steam beer process and stuff is a bunch of mythological bullshit.
Yeah, it's an interesting history to that beer, so that's why.
Yeah, it's like a San Francisco method of brewing beer.
Stick it up your butt.
Right. All right, I'm gonna stick it up the butt. Greg, of all the other beers you heard here tonight, what one would you rather have?
I'll have the one Lee's having because I've never had it before. Simple as that.
Yeah, I still owe it like everybody beer mails, so they're probably going to be smaller ones, but I still intend to send them out at some point. So that will definitely
Why
be.
does that matter to Lee?
Oh, if you sent one out, I don't know, do a beer else. Anyway.
I'd send out like a 2 or 3 can beer mail to everybody. So there'd be like a California Common in there, but then there'd be like 2 other things that we could do a fucking beer analysis on. So.
Right on. All right, and over to me. Of all the beers I heard tonight, well, I've had the California Common from Propeller. I've had Pilsner Urquell. The only one I haven't had is Greg's.
Yay!
Well, whatever you fucking called it, blah blah.
So you want the Cloverleaf tuna lager?
Yeah, the Clover.
GLB love.
Because I don't know. Because it's the only one I haven't had, and it's the only one I'm kind of half interested in because nah.
It sounds like every craft brewery's blonde lager is what it sounds like to me.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
Raptors one coming your way.
Okay.
There's a last-minute message from Eric Gilbert, and he says, those are sweet, and I'm assuming he's referring to the high-gravity Euro lagers.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
yeah.
are.
God. Gross.
They are sweet, not sweet.
Yeah. It's diabetes in a bottle or a can.
Diabetes. All right, so I guess that wraps things up. We are going to come back online here in a bit with an after chat, of course. Next week, don't really have anything planned. We just take a week off and before we start our run towards the Christmas season here. And
Nick, I have an exciting announcement. I have just discovered my dog's tooth on the ground, which means he has lost one of his baby teeth, and he's getting big boy teeth. Yay!
He's growing up.
He's grown up, puppy.
Well, the important thing is these little fucking baby teeth really hurt when he bites me. His adult teeth won't hurt as much.
Nice.
So that's the important part.
To on biting that table, dog.
Sure, it's because you didn't punch the dog in the face?
I mean, he deserved it, but no.
Oh, jeez.
Like a raptor's claw.
Yeah.
Toronto Raptors. Of course, he wasn't. Think about it. Your dog wasn't even alive when the Raptors won the.
He wasn't even alive when my last dog died, and that wasn't that long ago.
No.
That's really happy. That's
Yeah.
great.
Way to bring everything down, you fucking.
Yep. And now we have 4 viewers. So thank you, 4 viewers, for watching this poor excuse for a beer analysis. Bring your own beer analysis 101, where we took a look at our favorite go-to lagers.
There's less racism
I've
on
had
this.
too many
Bring your
go-to
own beer.
lagers.
Is this Wild Card Wednesday?
Whoop!
Wild Card Wednesdays?
How about Fandango Fridays?
Fandango. Punk.
Getting out of
All right,
control.
we're going to come back online with the after chat. Thank you for watching, and we will. Thanks, Lee. Thanks, Ash. Thanks, Greg, for coming on, and thanks, Derek Gilbert, for being the only person actually watching and commenting this at the same time. We'll be back on shortly. We'll chat with you folks later, and nobody's saying penis tonight.
Penis.
Penis.